Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Jim Master who as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Global News Highlights. Right, so we're back again in this DeepSeek, which is an artificial intelligence, something like Chat GPT. Right, and I asked it, what is the major news worldwide in the past 24 hours? Right, because we're watching for the signs of the times, right? This is Ezekiel 33:7. It says Ezekiel 33:7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee as a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. So the word of the Lord is the prophecies, right? So we're watching what's happening in the world and relating to the scriptures and the Bible to warn, right, the people listening, right, the sheep. All right. So we're back in the news. Let me go back to it. All right. So today they gave us 5 points. Matter of fact, I also grabbed this, measuring the time. Because every day we get closer to the end of this thing, right, to the end of this age, the current leadership. This is second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest shall begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Right? Even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. Right. And that's how, we see the things happening that are taking place in the world. Right. A lot of things they're talking about is making history, a lot of earthquakes, right? Volcanic eruptions, these different major storms, intensifying stronger, the chariots that you're seeing inside the skies. The people are calling drones, right? The many wars, the uproars of the people, all these different things are happening here in these last days. Right? This is you get Luke 21. This is Luke 21 and 22. It says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Right? So everything written in scriptures will be fulfilled. Right? The word of the Lord doesn't go out void. It accomplished that where he sent it to, right? And we're at an end. This is Ezekiel 7 and 6. This is Ezekiel 7, and I'll start at 5. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim in evil, and only evil, behold, is come, and end is come, the end is come, it watches for thee, behold, is come. Right, so we're watching for the end. We're making sure that the day doesn't take us like a thief in the night. Measuring the time diligently, looking at the news, understanding what's happening around us. Therefore, we can be prepared. So like I said, we're in this DeepSeek artificial intelligence. I asked it, what is the major news worldwide in the past 24 hours? It gave me 5 points. Point 1 says escalating Middle East conflict. It says Iran retaliates. Iran launched missile attacks on the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the largest military installation in the Middle East, in response to U.S. strikes on its nuclear facilities. It says Qatar intercepted the missiles, reporting no casualties. All right, so we know that has already taken place, right? And there's what they call a ceasefire. They actually calling it a fragile ceasefire. Never heard the term before, but that's what they're calling it, a fragile ceasefire. I mean, pretty much all of Israel's ceasefires are fragile, right? Because they only ceasefire for a while and then they continue back on with what they've been doing, which is killing, rape, robbing, murder, land, they rob land, they murder the individuals, separate families, all of that. And something else to point out too, they're taking out, they got this Palantria, right? They're taking out these top military guys, one shot after one shot, but they bombing the whole of Palestine, right? They come out, they're looking for Hamas, but they can't find Hamas, but they can find all the scientists of Iran's nuclear program individually, right? They can call these dudes on their phone and warn them, talking about, you're on my list. You got 12 hours. You can escape. He said, I know everything about you. I know where you are. I got your phone number. But when it comes to Gaza, all of Gaza got to go. Every one of them is Hamas. So we can't let none of them eat. So that's hypocrite right there. That's the devil for you. All right. That's the fucking devil. All right. And let me grab it. Let me grab Isaiah 32. Because, hey, the scripture said they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. So are you talking about you got Palantria and you can hit targets that you can follow easily, right? You can regime change. You can decapitate the head, but you in Gaza destroying everybody. Nobody can eat. Isaiah 32:5, it says, "The vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak villainy; his heart will work iniquity, to practice hypocrisy, to utter error against the Lord Yahweh, Bashin Yahweh, to make empty the souls of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail, right? It says the instruments also the churl are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speak it right. They sent, those people are talking about, we're not Hamas, we're just hungry. And he's like, no, I don't know, you guys are housing Hamas agents. But at the same time, he can go to Iran and pinpoint targets and knock them off. So it don't make no sense. All right, it don't make no sense. It says, so back in this point 1, where subsection 2, it says U.S. response. President Trump monitored the situation from the Situation Room. While the Pentagon assessed damage from the strikes, the U.S. had preemptively warned citizens in Qatar to shelter in place. So, we'll see what happens because, on one token, they're saying that the job is done. And on another token, they're, talking about it's not done and they're preparing for more, and they got a fragile ceasefire going on. So we'll see. So oil markets, Trump urged global markets to keep oil prices down, fearing disruptions from potential Iranian blockades of the Strait of Hormuz, which they have come together and said, yes, they will close it. So they're just waiting on, I guess, the supreme leader to give the go ahead to do that, right? We did videos before. They already have like, missile launchers over there, on that. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. So they're prepared to shut this thing down straight. Let's go get a map right here. Oh yeah, okay. So they got let me look because they got something called Greater Thumb and Lesser Thumb. All right, let me get it. They got 2 islands right over there by the Greater Hormuz. Let me grab it. All right, so Greater and Lesser TUNBS. It says Greater Thumb and Lesser Thumb are 2 small islands in the eastern Persian Gulf, close to the Strait of Hormuz. All right, and now let me ask it: does Iran have missiles over there? All right, let me see. Right here, okay. We got something from March 23rd. It says Iran unveils missile system on strategic Gulf islands. It says Iran's Revolutionary Guard have unveiled new missile systems on their strategic islands in the Gulf, saying they can target nearby enemy bases, vessels, and assets. Right? It says the weapons are deployed on Greater Tom and Lesser Tom. Right? And it says another one, Abu Musa, near the Strait of Hormuz, a globally vital shipping lane. Yeah. So if they shut this thing down, they already prepared to do that. Right? So oil markets, Trump urged global markets to keep oil prices down, fearing disruptions from potential Iranian blockades of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil checkpoint. Yeah, so if they close that thing down, they talking about gas prices could double or triple. Right? It said they can increase it to about $5. It's already about I don't know $3 or something. So it'd be like $10. All right. So point two, Iran, Israel strikes intensify. Says targeting Tehran, Israel bombed Evin prison, a notorious detention center in Tehran, holding political dissidents, signaling a shift to targeting Iran's ruling infrastructure. France condemned the strike, citing risk to imprisoned nationals. Yeah, and right before this ceasefire, the hour right before the ceasefire, they was attacking each other, right? That's what caused Trump to say they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I think it even mentioned it down here a little bit. All right. So they're, that's why they call them fragile. So anyway, it says the human toll is over 950 killed in the 11 days of conflict, with Iran firing missiles at, I think it's at like 13 now. 13 days was when the ceasefire started. It says with Iran firing missiles at Israeli cities and Israel striking nuclear military sites. Right. It says in point three, global diplomatic fallout. Putin warns of dangerous line. Russia's president criticized U.S. strikes as unprovoked aggression, but stopped short of offering concrete support to Iran during a meeting with Iran's foreign minister. Okay, well, they have already signed strategic military deals between themselves, to supply weapons, right? And there's even talks of them offering Iran nukes, So that's there. It says UN warns of a spiral of chaos. It says Secretary General Antonio expressed alarm over escalating violence, while China cautioned against war spillover. It says NATO summit discord. Trump blocked a joint statement on Ukraine at the G7. The deepening rifts with allies. NATO leaders agreed to increase defense spending to 5% GDP, though Spain negotiated an exemption. Right, so they're preparing for this battle, this great war, World War III. They need more defense spending, ability. So point four, it says other key developments. It says Syria church bombing, a suicide attack at a Greek Orthodox church in Damascus killed 25 with ISIS blamed. It says Kyiv under fire. Yeah, Russia is taking land and they're not giving it back. They even got North Korea coming in to rebuild. Oh, Slovakia. Yeah, I was reading. It was an older one, but a lot of times these things make this sound. I was wondering where I was reading that. So I'll just brush through these. I'll just brush through it because it's pretty much the same, but it's kind of different. And I gave you some new information too. Anyway, because I felt like I was reading the same thing, so I had to add more to it. But anyway, so this one is 5 points. I'm gonna read through it briefly. This is the updated one. I don't know what day I was reading. So Israel-Iran conflict and ceasefire developments. All right. So it says fragile truth holds. A U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Iran remains tenuous, with both sides accusing each other of violation. Israel claimed Iran launched missiles post-truce, while Iran denied the allegations, calling it strike on a U.S. base and Qatar self-defense. All right. So I kind of already explained it, It says U.S. involvement. President Trump criticized both nations for violating the agreement, urging Israel to calm down and suggesting Iran may have acted by mistake. Later confirmed Israel halted further strikes after their conversation. All right, human toll. It says the conflict has killed 974 in Iran, including civilians and security personnel, and 28 in Israel, with over 1,000 wounded. The U.S. Evacuated 250 citizens from Israel. That was point one. Point two says global diplomacy and NATO summit. Trump NATO remarks at the summit Trump called Israel and Iran clueless for prolonging fighting, while NATO's chief oddly praised him as daddy for handling the crisis. That's kind of weird. They do have a lot of weird things going on behind closed doors. So it says Ukraine focused. Zelensky met Trump, who described their talks as nice. Meanwhile, Russia sent 6,000 North Korean troops to rebuild war-torn Kursk. Right, that's what I was saying. Um, yeah, Russia has taken land from Ukraine, and North Korea is coming in and just rebuilding it, behind them, or whatever. So it says, and they, you already know what happens if they get attacked, they're gonna fight back too, right? It says U.S. Iran nuclear talks. Trump hinted at a potential nuclear agreement with Iran during upcoming talks in Oman. All right. It says point three, humanitarian and security crisis, Gaza aid violence. Israeli forces killed 59 Palestinians near a UN aid convoy in Khan Yunis, bringing a total aid seeker deaths to 397 since May. The UN warned of famine risk as crowds scramble for food. Our Syrian war crimes, a German court sentenced Syrian official Ala Musa to life for torture and murder during the civil war. Okay. It says vaccines coverage. I don't know if I could have said that, but yeah, it goes into that. So about 13 million children missed some type of shot due to the 2020 event with the jump juice. Now we have measles surging in the US and EU. Point four says disasters and accidents. Earthquakes, a 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck the Philippine Sea, while smaller tremors hit the Dominican Republic and Japan. See, so we got uproars all over the place. I mean, earthquakes all over the place, right? Hitting different places. It says SpaceX agrees fallout. Mexico threatened legal action over falling rocket debris from U.S. launches. Right, yo, Mexico, that lady, she was a small island, right? She's a JWO. It's a bunch of bullshit. That's why the Gulf of Mexico is now called the Gulf of America. You know, it says Air India crash aftermath. The death toll rose to 270 from the June 13 crash in Ahmedabad, with safety inspections disrupting flights. Okay, so we have point five now, political and economic updates. India evacuations. 292 Indians were evacuated from Iran, totaling 2,200 amid Middle East tensions. So we have economic shifts. We have S&P raised India's FY26 GDP forecast to 6.5, citing lower oil prices, which we'll have to see about that. Said the U.S. House banned WhatsApp on government devices over data security concerns. You know, and I spoke on that before of why I believe they were doing that. I didn't even look it up. But yeah, they banned WhatsApp. I gotta see if my WhatsApp is working. Fuck it. I mean, yeah, I can do it. But is that if is that something you would use, that for in the future too? Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, saying that I keep this that, so, so, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's your party part and you call it and do it. Or you right back. Because I remember you saying like 30, it might have been 30 minutes. Thirty back. Yeah, my dad said, it's well done for your life. Yeah, I know how to. Yeah. No, I'm making it right. I'll be able to take you, children. All right, y'all. All right, Shalaki. Um, we was at a point five. I'm at legal actions as Taiwan sentenced a former soldier to prison for spying for China. Right, so we got tension going on with Taiwan, China, and U.S. also. And then we has a teacher was arrested for sexual harassment, 24 students. We have other notable events and pretty much nothing there. Hey, so Shalom to the Open Elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.